Welcome to Slow and Steady, the podcast where you get to follow along as we figure out how to build and run a SaaS. I'm Benedikt.
And I'm Brian. Each week, we'll give you an honest peek into our lives as we work on our products and keep the lights on by making it up as we go. Today is May 26th, and I am feeling rested.
This is episode number 43, and I'm once again on a lot of calls.
Today's episode is brought to you by hackchinese.com, a professional language learning platform that helps you expand your Mandarin vocabulary and pass the highest levels of the official Chinese language exams. Hack Chinese improves your character recognition, trains your listening skills, and helps you overcome your learning plateaus. To get a 50% discount on your first 3 months, mention Slow and Steady after you sign up. So go check it out, hackchinese.com. Benedikt, how are you doing, man? Got a lot more calls?
Yeah, a lot more calls today. One got canceled, or it was a no-show, so it's one less right before this one, like right before the recording. So I got a little break in, but it's back-to-back calls right after that. I started preparing dinner like earlier today, because I only have 1 hour to prepare, like cook it, eat it, and then be back on another call.
Oh man,
already everything's chopped and stuff.
Nice, yeah, doing a little prep work in advance. What are all the calls about?
So earlier today was a mastermind call with a couple of friends. Then this right before this was supposed to be a call with a customer, but apparently problem resolved or whatever. They didn't show up.
All good.
Now we're recording. Right after that, it's the new Tiny Seed Mastermind. So we got grouped into groups of 4 companies. In our case, that means 8 founders.
Okay.
So we'll be a large mastermind call. After that, I've got a break for dinner. And then there's another Tiny Seed call where basically with the entire group, we get more or less a tiny lecture by Rob and Einar about various topics. Not sure what this week's topic will be, but I mean, I'll see.
Yeah.
And that's so cool. That's the last one for today. But I think it will end 8:30 or so, 8:30 p.m. So it's a long day.
Long day. Long day. All good though. Well, good. I mean, I hope. Hope they go well. How's your mastermind group going? The one with your friends?
That one's still fun. We are just chatting about stuff. It's a lot of it is catching up on the COVID situation in our respective countries, but also talking a little bit about things we work on, challenges we're facing.
Yeah,
and stuff like that.
Nice. Yeah.
What about you?
I was going to say I completely dropped the ball on getting my mastermind group spun back up after the new year with the 3 of us. I mean, we were all loving it and it's great. And so we took a couple of weeks off for the holidays, and then I had my birthday, and then one of the guys, and it was just like, we just have yet to spin it back up. And then, COVID hit and started kind of coming up on the radar late February, early March. And I was texting with Travis, is one of the guys. I was texting with him like, hey man, we're awful. Like, we need a mastermind to remind us to get our mastermind going again. Because we're all enjoying it. We just keep forgetting to just take the time to schedule it. But anyway, let's see. Well, so you've got a good list of things. We were talking last week, like right before we started recording, pretty much you all launched in-app messaging on Product Hunt.
Yeah. It was supposed to be a big day. It turned out it wasn't because we really dropped the ball on this one.
Sorry.
And I'm not entirely, it's been a week now and I'm still not entirely sure what went wrong. But I guess one of the mistakes we made was that we really focused on making a splash on Product Hunt but we failed to do so. And I'm like still not sure why, because like at least it seemed like we're doing everything right. Like posted in there, get a lot of people to comment on it, upvote it. We're not asking anyone for upvotes, but of course we send it to the mailing list, telling everyone, hey, we're on Product Hunt today, which kind of has the implication to go there and upvote and maybe comment, but we didn't violate the rules by asking for it. And like it looked like we are gaining traction pretty fast, but for some reason we never got onto the front page and into the popular category for the day.
Yeah.
And that basically meant that we made a splash, but only in our audience and nowhere else. And I mean, it's kind of nice, but the plan was to get some new eyes on the product and some new eyes on that particular new feature. And that didn't happen at all. And you can even tell, like in our Google Analytics stats for the website, you cannot see the launch. Like there's no spike or anything. It's just flatlined. So yeah, that was disappointing.
Okay. So just in short, you feel like the in-app messaging launch was a failure because it failed to deliver to generate any new traffic, any new buzz, or bring in any new audience segment.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, that's how it is. I guess there's not much we can do about it in hindsight, but I think for the next one, we have to make sure that we not focus on just this one thing so much. Like, for example, we posted it on Product Hunt, and then everything, like all other communication about it, was basically redirecting traffic to Product Hunt.
Okay.
And that meant, as I said, like nobody visited our website, nobody saw our nice landing page, nobody got a chance to sign up. Or, I mean, in theory, they could click on the link and Product Hunt and then stuff like that, go elsewhere. They didn't get our retargeting cookie, like nothing. So I think for next time, we'll probably be smarter about it and like at least have a link to the website in there as well, and not just Product Hunt. And
because
maybe
the
drive
strategy,
more.
Go ahead. Sorry. I mean to interrupt you.
Yeah, and just like drive more, like instead of driving all the traffic to Product Hunt, also drive some traffic to the website from other sources, like we posted on Indie Hackers, Twitter, the mailing list, stuff like that. And all that traffic went to Product Hunt, but not to our website. And
the strategy for that was then if you crack into the top page, and then even in the top 4, then that generates all this new additional traffic. So that's why all of the other sources you were sending to Product Hunt try to make it the big splash, and then you get all the additional traffic.
Yeah. So the idea was to get new eyes on the product, and basically, the plan is once you're in the popular page, the theory is that more people see it, maybe get interested, at least click on the website once, and by that, get more people into the audience over time. We didn't really expect signups or anything, like from past experience that never really works out, or at least it's, if people sign up, it's usually just tire kickers, just looking around. At least that's what it was like in the past. So we didn't really expect that part to go well, but just like more eyes on the product, and new people into the audience that we already have.
Yeah, it's the whole Product Hunt thing. I'm curious what listeners think and how people are feeling about it. If really and truly the value of it has not completely gone. Oh man, yeah. I'm sitting here thinking, I mean, Product Hunt, like it's pretty much it's for the most part a waste of time now. It used to not be. Because yeah, it sucks all kind of the attention and the energy. And then even if you do have a good launch on it, you just, like you said, you get a bunch of tire kickers. But at the same time, I mean, that's where everybody looks. That's what everybody's talking about. Like that, if you want to generate some buzz, then that's how you how you do it. You have there's a very low batting average when you're stepping up to the plate on Product Hunt.
Yeah,
so hard to balance the prioritization there, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm not even sure what the next launch will look like.
Okay.
Like if we take Product Hunt out of the picture, what do we like? What are we supposed to do?
Well, so I was going to ask. I mean, it just it feels like Product Hunt, Indie Hackers, Hacker News. The holy triad there. So, what was there any traction or conversation on Indie Hackers or Hacker News, or was that also what you're saying is kind of part of the failed approach? Is that there wasn't enough attention given to those things, or how did that go?
Yeah, like we didn't post it to Hacker News because I'm not a fan of the Hacker News community.
All right.
And if stuff ends up there, that's fine. But from past experience, posting there myself never worked for me at all.
Don't disagree.
If anything, if anything, it only helped that other people, by random people at random times, posted stuff there. Then that usually takes off. But if I'm posting myself, that never worked out. So we didn't post it there deliberately. We had a post prepared for indie hackers, but in hindsight, it was too promotional and more like an afterthought. I think we also linked to the Product Hunt post in there. So and we got it has 2 upvotes, one by me and one by Jay. So it's just we kind of dropped the ball on that one. I think if we put in some more thought into what we post on Indie Hackers and not make it as promotional as it was, but maybe talk a little bit about the story or just add some additional value, I think it would have done a lot better. But as I said, we put all eggs in one basket, and that basket was Product Hunt. And for some reason, and I still don't know why we didn't go to the popular category, because we had more votes than products in the popular category in a short amount of time. And also products posted after us got in there. So time can't be the factor, upvotes can't be a factor, comments can't be a factor.
So much of it. So much of it's an inside game now that Product Hunt staff, if I'm understanding this correctly, I mean, people correct me if I'm wrong, but it's staff, Product Hunt staff deciding which products get onto the popular and front page now. And it's just I don't know. Doesn't seem like does not seem like the sort of game you want to be playing, but for some reason it looks like they didn't like it. If it's manually curated, then probably didn't appeal to them.
The problem is, or what really confuses us a little bit, we had the same phenomenon with the Help Founders launch a couple weeks ago.
Okay,
that also didn't go anywhere. And back then we thought it was a fluke. I mean, it's not really a product and stuff like that, but it happened again, and we don't really get it. It doesn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah. Huh. It seems like the things that you all that you've shared that's gotten traction has been when Jane's written several articles about here's how we used this to build, and it was definitely talking about Userlist, but it was, kind of educational or, I'm just wondering, an article by Benedikt about here's how I learned, here's what I learned about, JSON web tokens and how we use them to create in-app messaging. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, maybe that would be a smarter thing. Yeah. We thought about it before, but we didn't we had nothing in us, to be honest. At least it felt like this.
Got it. Yeah, that's fair.
Like all the posts we could think about were kind of boring, and I mean maybe it was related that this like took a long while, and we've been spending a lot of energy on it, and maybe it took too long, and we didn't have enough energy for a good launch. So I don't know. Yeah, I mean, it's a learning experience. We can only do better next time, I guess.
Yeah, no, of course. I mean, yeah, not everything is going to go the way that you want or expect it. I mean, not to, gosh, what's the, I was going to say it's definitely an argument for the whole, Jeff Bezos approach of writing the release material before you build the product, because by the time you get to the end of it, you're probably tired of thinking about it. And it's hard to write exciting.
That's a good idea. Yeah. Yeah. Maybe we should start it that way around. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then use that as a benchmark. Like, have we everything that we mentioned in there? Is everything built? And
yep.
Also probably protects you from building more than you promised in the initial draft.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's by Jeff Bezos. I haven't heard about the strategy yet, but that sounds like a smart idea.
Yeah, I mean, it's something that I think that I don't know if they still do it internally, but it was one of those, just kind of practices that they apparently did at Amazon that spread around. I'm feeling a little bit bitter towards Bezos at the moment. So I'm not wanting to. Whatever. That's a whole episode. What? Okay. Well, what else? What else you got? What else you got going on over there in your world?
Well, like after the failed launch on Tuesday last week, we got a new competitor on Wednesday with a at least more successful launch than us on Product Hunt. And I think we mentioned it. We talked about this a little bit a couple of weeks ago. Baremetrics launched their messaging tool, and like first when we read the landing page, we're like, "Yep, could be the Userlist landing page." And I'm not saying they ripped it off or anything, but they're solving a very similar thing than we do.
Use case, right?
And first reaction, of course, was a little bit, "Ugh, well, this is awfully similar." But then a second thought was, "Hey, that probably means we're on the right track and actually solving a problem that is a valid problem." So while we were a little bit shocked for the first day, I think by now we're good with it, and it's actually motivation to make our product even better. And maybe we should have a Stripe integration.
That's a good one.
Yeah. We're not going to get into metrics, but I think like what's really cool, and there have been other products that do that, is just like have a one-click integration that pulls your Stripe events into Userlist. And I think that would be really cool. I have a feeling that we need some more groundwork to build a really good solution, but maybe it's one of the things we should tackle next.
What is I'm just kind of curious, like what your backlog looks like right now, in terms of, is it still the things that you and Jane knew from the beginning, we're going to need to build these things to have a full featured product? Or is your backlog starting to fill up with customer requests, or needing to get parity with some competitors? What's the balance there?
I feel like the tool itself is in a good shape in terms of it doesn't have to shy away from competitors. Like,
all right,
it's definitely not on par with all of them, but I think it does a good enough job so that you can that you can get work done. And we do, in some parts we do less than competitors, in some parts we do a little bit more. So I feel like it's in a good shape on that part. There are a couple of things that we want to work on that we had in mind initially, but now customers are already also requesting them. Like, for example, like outgoing data, like outgoing integrations, more incoming integrations, like Stripe, for example, is one of the obvious ones. And also, and I think that's what we need to build even before that is representing like groups or teams or companies inside the data model, because right now everything is based on users and user interaction. But like a lot of SaaS tools aren't just working with one user. That might work well for an e-commerce setup, or maybe even like if you're selling info products, where the person who receives the emails and clicks on the emails is also the one who buys stuff. I think for SaaS applications, that's not always true. In the mapping from customer in Stripe to user in your database isn't as straightforward most of the times, unless it's a super simple one user product. Then there's a direct connection. But more often than not, it's the company who buys it, and then you have a couple users using it, and that mapping isn't that's still a challenge. And for one, we don't have a lot of we don't have a company data model in there that groups users together yet. And that also has implications on how automations work, because then stuff the company does might trigger emails to users of a certain type within that company and things like that. So my gut feeling is, for this to become feasible and a really valuable tool, we probably have to build this part next before it even makes sense to add Stripe on top of it. Because I mean, we could do it right now, but it would always be a subpar solution to the real problem.
Got it. How big of a lift does that feel like is?
Like a lift in terms of what do you mean?
Like how big of a project when you start to think through scoping that and
it's next in that messaging thing, I guess.
Yeah. That's it. It sounds large.
Yeah, but it's also one of those things, the longer we wait, the harder it'll get. So in a way, I'm already regretting not doing it from the start. But back then it felt like a reasonable limitation to, get something out the door faster. But if we want to focus on SaaS, I think that's it's sort of a must-have, to be honest, because as I said, like the data structure and the interactions aren't just focused on one user, but on groups. So we have to find a solution.
Is that you've mentioned before, like a couple of, and sorry if you can hear the garbage truck. I'm at my outdoor desk and it's trash day. But you've talked before about a couple of customers who are kind of on the larger end. Do they meet that? Like, do they fit this? Do they fit that description that you're talking about right now?
Actually, I don't think so.
Okay.
Surprisingly, the people on the larger plans, they are probably on the larger plans because they don't need that feature, because they can go all in with their current setup, because it's simple enough that it doesn't matter. But we've heard that a couple of times, like it's one of the things that comes up in support requests when people are just starting out. It's like, hey, how do I model my data for this particular use case?
Yeah.
And we have a couple, hacky solutions that make it kind of work for some cases, but it's not a great.
Yeah.
It's a hack. Yeah, it's very obviously a hack. And like some people are fine with it, but I think it would be good to have a proper solution. Then again, that said, I also think that from a marketing perspective, it's not a thing that makes a big splash. Like,
right.
I mean, there are like other tools, like some do this, but not a lot do this. So it's kind of, it makes it a unique product, but it's also not something that makes up a flashy, cool landing page. It's more like obviously, like, why would it work any other way?
Of course it does that. Yeah,
but that makes me a little bit, I'm a little bit concerned to spend a lot of time on it. But then again, I mean, it would be the right thing. So I don't know. Still undecided on that.
I mean, yeah, no, so many competing priorities to decide there.
Just
what type?
Basically, it boils down to
customer wants it.
Yeah, what type of customer wants it, and like also, like, is the marketing value of just having some Stripe integration bigger than like some Stripe integration? A very simple, crude implementation of Stripe right now, higher or lower than a very good implementation in 6 months? And that's a call that I can't really make right now. So yeah, that's something I've been noodling on. And yeah, that's it from Userlist side, I guess.
Good luck. Well, yeah, I mean, I think momentum on Headlamp continues to move along for me.
Nice.
I'm big time now hitting like the asymptotic like end like plateau where now everything that I work on is like, there's not that much, it's not a huge like demonstrable difference. It's just writing some tests and that feel like, that feels like breakthroughs now of how am I going to test time zones on meeting creation and future recurring events, and getting that written and working doesn't feel like as big a deal as creating the entire page for events and saving records and stuff like that. So so what I did at the end of last week is I reached out to a Rails developer that I had collaborated with before to see if they would be interested in like 10-15 hours a week for the next for sure for the next month, just to feel like I'm kind of turning myself into a team, or turning Headlamp into a development team of 2, just trying to think through both. I'm probably not the best. I'm not the best person to do this particular task. And okay, now that it's starting to slow down for me, how do I maintain momentum? And so I think it's going to accomplish both of those things. So they're going to start working on things this week, the Zoom and Google Calendar integrations, so that you can scheduled one-on-ones will go to your Google Calendar, and we'll also create an upcoming Zoom event that you can join from Headlamp. Nice. I was tinkering around with the mailer, getting the mailer set up, and I accidentally fired off an email to Justin at Transistor because I had like a handful of real companies that I know, like in my fixtures, just to feel like it's real. And unfortunately, I accidentally fired one off to Justin. He sent me a message and was like, "Hey, did you send this?" It was from Brian at Project Headlamp, and it's like, "Your meeting has been scheduled." It's like, yeah, that shouldn't happen. I'm sorry. So that was a little embarrassing. Good news is that the mailer was working. Bad news is that a test had failed.
A little bit too well.
Yeah, right. Exactly. It was funny. but yes, I committed last week on this show. Like, what I need to do is to draw a line in the sand. Like, that's the first thing I need to do, is say there's this big old list of other things that I will want to add to it, but doesn't have to have it to start demoing to people to see if they want to sign up and pay. So I've got that drawn in Trello. Basically, there's list of things in to do, and when those are done, I'll put together a demo, update the marketing page, and start trying to get people to sign up for it. I know for sure this upcoming week for me is going to be slow. Yesterday was Memorial Day here in the United States, and I actually ended up working a good bit, but still, like, a half day-ish, a little more than a half day. Today I need to really dig on some client work. Tomorrow I'm taking a mental health day and going fishing. Just kind of feeling I'm starting to feel a little bit thin. And then Friday, I'm going to spend some time with my wife, just me and her. So it'll be a slow development day, a slow development week for me, but hopefully, get this other developer spun up and get some of these Trello cards ticked off. Yeah. So progress is moving along.
How are you balancing work on the product and work on consulting projects right now?
It's not been easy. So I've definitely been, I've been working longer hours, and working definitely more evening hours and more time on the weekends than I have, in a little while. And so, yeah, that's how the way I'm balancing it, the way I'm getting it done is that I am not working 40-hour weeks anymore. And that just feels like pretty much a requirement, for at least a little season here. And, so, but it feels like I'm able to keep both things moving forward. And, as long as I'm slide some days off and some breaks in here from time to time, and that's how I'll do it.
But sounds good. Yeah, I mean, important thing is that you feel good about it. I mean, yeah, working more hours is probably not a long-term solution, but like
right,
for a short stint, yeah, that totally makes sense.
Yeah, definitely. Not a long-term solution, but in the near term, I literally don't think there's any other way to get it done, despite some other advice you might hear about it. One cool thing that has kind of come up over the past 2 weeks is that the founder of this mobile app called Felt, F-E-L-T, it's like this mobile app that lets you create hand written cards on your mobile device, and then they send like print that out and send it in the mail. I'm joining as an product advisory role, for like a small little piece, and that just feels like new and fun and interesting. It's a really cool it's a pretty cool product. They're a Colorado company. What's funny is that my wife and I like watched them go on Shark Tank, some number of seasons ago. If you're familiar with Shark Tank, it's where do you know Shark Tank? Or I think it's called Dragon's Den in Canada and maybe some other places. But anyway, so when they reached out, I was like, I totally know this product. I was happy for y'all when you got that deal. I remember that. So that has been that's been fun, new, different, and really cool. So I actually have a call with them later this afternoon. That's just also creating some good vibes, good energy over here.
Nice.
And and then the other thing that's sort of simmering is that somebody, a CEO, has reached out to me about a potential, head of product role, and so it's a really cool. It's a very, very cool product for kids with ADHD and autism. And so, in terms of just like good that it adds to the world, mission alignment, that's all there. I've had several conversations with the CEO, and he seems solid. And the product needs some help, needs some work. Like there's obvious ways that I can look at it and be like, oh yeah, totally. I know what I would do, and or I know where I would at least begin. So that's on the table, but that would be like 2 months out. It would be a really big hire for them, so they're going to take their time.
Yeah. Interesting. I'm just amazed by like when you were looking, like nothing happened, like no consulting gigs, no job offers, nothing. The week you stop looking, or the week after you stop looking, stuff suddenly pops up.
Yeah.
But that's great. I mean,
yeah, it's good.
Yeah, I'm happy for you.
I mean, it's great that it's an iron in the fire, and it's just like an option. The weird, this is what you're pointing out. Like the irony is that now that I've got all this momentum, and okay, cool. Now I see where I could go with Headlamp, and these other things are popping up. Whereas, like, that would have been nice in January.
Yeah.
But whatever.
It's weird how the timing never works out.
No. This is the journey. So,
but I mean, then again, like at least now you have a plan B, sort of. Like, I mean, at least you have a plan, and you're working on like do the consulting and do the work on Headlamp, and if the job offer works out, then hey, great. But if it doesn't, it's not a big deal. And I think that's a better position to be in than a couple months ago, where it basically was like job offer or nothing else.
Or what? Yeah. Well, anyway, so that's the update on my side. All good over here. Just gonna keep moving.
That's good to hear. I don't have anything else to add on my side, so let's call it a day.
Let's call it good catching up, and
for sure.
Guess we'll talk next week.
Yeah, see you next week.
All right,
bye.
See ya.